Portage County Board of Supervisors meeting, recorded June 15, 2021.
Approval of May 18th, 2021 minutes. Moved by Supervisor Dubek, seconded by Supervisor Laddick. Any corrections or changes? All those in favor with aye? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Correspondence.
Forward Analytics, Rethinking Revenues, a National Perspective on Funding Counties. State Department 2020 Tourism Impact for Wisconsin. Space and Properties, Jared Jankowski, Building Tours and Space and Properties meeting dates, and Portage County Official Directory 2021 and 2022.
And I've got one other comment here from the media manager. Please convey this reminder to supervisors. The microphones to the board chambers are very sensitive, regardless of how loud or quiet you speak. In the ceiling might be, nobody should get their mouth any closer than 2 feet from the microphone. Just sit up straight, project, and the microphone will pick you up fine. Imagine an invisible beach ball between you and your mouth and the microphone, and don't let your lips touch the beach ball, it's filthy. Also speak clearly. It's just as important as being loud. Our audio are closed caption for the hearing impaired, but if the software can't understand you, it can't translate your words to text correctly. Finally, remember that the mics are automatically activated when you talk, so be careful when you are what you are saying unless you hold down the mute button on the base of the microphone. When speaking in confidence to your neighbor, or for example, it's safe to turn your head away from the mic, speak quietly and hold down the mute. Just wanted to make sure that we are passing that on. It seems like mine is very, very sensitive tonight and it's very loud, so. Public notice. Members of the public who wish to address the county board on specific agenda items must register their request at this time, with such comments subject to reasonable control of the county board as chair is set forth in Robert's Rules of Order. I had a conversation today at 3 o'clock with someone who wanted to talk on a non-agenda item. I have gotten back to that individual and was not going to allow it because it is not an agenda item, but I offered alternatives to be able to get that information to the rest of you supervisors in the form of an email. So if nothing else, I would ask you to pay attention to your emails within the next day or two. So anybody from the public who would like to speak on an agenda item, please. State your name, please, and which item.
Jamie White, and for the it's for the planning and zoning approval of the I don't know what agenda item I guess it is, but for the
Is it the storage or the
Yes.
GAGAS? Storage?
yes.
Number 10. Did you get her name? Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Number 7, resolution authorizing a new position in accordance with Human Resource Policy 3.11.5.1 for Health and Human Service Department.
Resolution number 114, 2020, 2022, submitted by the Health and Human Services Board and Human Resources Committee. This resolution authorizes an additional 8-hour per week for the public health planner position for the Health and Human Services Department.
Motion by Supervisor Zastro, seconded by Supervisor Moresi. Discussion. No discussion. Okay. All those in favor vote yes, and opposed no. And then hit save.
Are you guys having issues with
Oh.
voting? Okay.
You got it.
Oh, you got kicked out?
Yeah, and then the Wi-Fi went down and then I couldn't get back on and I signed back in.
Let's just do a voice vote on this if there's no objections. Mine went through, but
Yeah, I got some.
I like it.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we are at technical difficulties, so we'll go back to the old school. So if there's no objections, all those in favor with aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yep. Number 8, resolution authorizing an additional 1.0 FTE internal assessment social worker for Children's Protective Services.
Resolution number 115, 2020, 2022, submitted by the Health and Human Services Board, Human Resources, and Finance Committee. This resolution authorizes one additional FTE initial assessment social worker for the Health and Human Services Department. This is a budget adjustment and requires a 2/3 supermajority vote. We also will be making a scrivener's error in the title of the resolution. Initial is spelled wrong, so we will correct the spelling on that.
I'll take a motion by Supervisor Dodge, seconded by Supervisor Moresi. Discussion. Supervisor Neville.
I have a question. In the sixth whereas, it says leading cause of workload increases is due to use of heroin, opiates, and methamphetamines. And I was just wondering if somebody would tell us use by whom? By the children, by parents?
Parents.
Parents.
Is Ray here? Ray? I didn't want to speak out of turn, but I believe it's the parents. Yes, please. That's fine.
So, yeah, so again, we wouldn't take children into custody for their usage. This is usage by the parents. Okay.
Any other questions? We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, Town of Sharon Comprehensive Plan Amendment and Portage County Zoning Ordinance Map Amendment, Gagas Farms, Inc. property.
Resolution number 116, 2020, 2022, bless you. Submitted by the Planning and Zoning Committee. This resolution approves a comp plan amendment and zoning ordinance map amendment for the Gagas Farm property.
Motion by Supervisor Rakowski, seconded by Supervisor Gussel. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, Town of Stockton Comprehensive Plan Amendment and Portage County Zoning Ordinance Map Amendment, Storage Unlimited LLC property. You need a motion to get that on? Oh, go ahead.
Resolution number 117, 2020, 2022, submitted by the Planning and Zoning Committee. This resolution approves a comp plan amendment and zoning ordinance map amendment for storage on limited property.
Take a motion to put it on the floor. Motion by Supervisor Dodge, seconded by Supervisor Splinter. We've got a lady that wanted to speak.
Jamie White.
Jamie White.
So I'm Jamie White, and I represent Storage Unlimited, and I don't know exactly how this process works, so I just wanted to be available in case anyone had any questions, I think was the...
Okay. Thank you. Is there any questions or concerns? Supervisor Medina, then Supervisor Moresi. Wow. It's the mask, yeah.
Recognize it.
Supervisor Medina.
The board has become accustomed to getting the map so we can visualize the site, and we don't have those on
Another
the
packet.
So
packet that we have tonight.
yes, I contacted the Planning and Zoning Department about that, and they decided to just send a summary along with the resolution. And then the full packet was in the electronic version. But yeah, they didn't include the map in the hardcover packet.
Is this the new normal?
I don't know the answer to that.
Who else is, who was on, are you speaking to this one? Let's see, we got Barry, Mr. Splinter, Julie, Charlie, Larry.
So
Okay.
it was just.
It's on that.
Zoning department just decided not
Oh, okay.
along the attachments.
Mr. Splinter?
The property is located on the south side of Highway 10.
I think the question, though, that Supervisor Medina is asking is why isn't the information in the packet? Did they have any discussion at the committee level about that?
There was nothing.
No, we did not.
Okay. We will definitely, I think we've shared that in the future that we would like to have it the other way. Supervisor Medina?
Yes, it's easier to
That was relayed
visualize.
to them?
Yes, that was relayed to them. There were previous conversations with the planning and zoning staff when we had a very large packet that the resolution itself had like 130 pages. And we said we were just going to send the attachments electronically. That conversation was not had about the resolutions that were in your packet for this month. And I talked with the planning and zoning staff and they said, yeah, that was intentional. They didn't want to include all those attachments in the hard copies. So going forward, I will just ask them to continue to include those in the hard copy packets.
And I'm not asking for the kind of detail that we have had in the past, but I would like to have at least the map that shows the current and the proposed.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a lot to ask. Supervisor Moresi?
I had the same concern, Mr. Chair. I thought that if we have a paper packet, I would get that at home, and I'm reading that. Luckily, I knew the electronic copy had them both on, so I had access to both mediums, and I think it'd be good just to have it straight across the board, because some folks still don't use the internet,
And I know that we, on some of these issues with planning and zoning, some of these other packets in the past have had 3 or 4 pages of colored with topographics and different things, and it's like some of that might be a little much detail that we're looking for, but when it's the location of it, like Mr. Supervisor Medina had mentioned, of where it is particular helps and what's around it, whether it's a GIS shot or a CSM shot with just the boundary lines to identify it helps a lot. So, Supervisor Moresi.
I did have a question about the actual project itself. So in the description, number 3, I guess that would be on page 2 of the document. It talks about the planning and zoning administrator for the city and how they kind of voice their opposition to this mixed development. I'm just wondering if there's anybody who can explain kind of this perspective here in number 3, where it says, according to the city's extraterritorial land use map, the subject parcel is split between 2 future land uses, the northern half allocated towards higher intensity residential and commercial development, while the southern half allocated towards single 2-family residential development. Similar to the town of Stockton's future land use map, the proposal use would be at odds with what the city has designated for this area, and as such they would have significant concerns with this proposal. I don't know if anybody from the city is here to explain that, or if anybody from the planning and zoning could help explain that, just so we have a full grasp of what they mean by all of this.
Anybody take that?
I could speak a little bit to that, Mr. Chair, if you'd like.
Mr. Holman?
Yeah, so the city did receive the agenda from the town of Stockton's meeting, and they were invited to attend, but it's my understanding they did not attend. So the idea that there was a specific statement in opposition would be not correct, from my understanding.
Supervisor Dodge?
Just remembering back to the Stockton land use plan, I believe that the 20 acres on either side of Highway 10 were designated for commercial activity. And that has never been disputed by the city. So that's why the town of Stockton acted to approve this agenda item. The location is actually between Stockton Road and the trailer park on the south side of Highway 10. Mm-hmm. So that all is pretty much the same type of, not activity, but, the appearance of it is pretty uniform. So, and they explained how they were going to do the storage units, which are more attractive from the highway side, and the entrance to those facilities would be from the south. So it's a well-planned project as far as we're concerned.
Anybody else? We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor with aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, resolution to enroll in state of Wisconsin EM resources and reduce the number of bed licenses at the Portage County Health Care Center.
Resolution number 118, 2020, 2022, submitted by the Healthcare Center Committee. This resolution approves a reduction in the number of bed licenses held by the Healthcare Center.
Take a motion. Motion by Supervisor Dubek, seconded by Supervisor Reeser. Discussion. Melissa? Supervisor Johnson?
I was just raising my hand to make a motion, that's all. Thank you.
Oh, I was watching for you too. I was looking for your hand, so I was watching for you, Melissa. Just next time, just raise your hand. I've got my eye on you.
Okay, yeah, that's a little scary, but I'll remember that, thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those if there's no further discussion, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, budget adjustment for land and water conservation division, soil and water resource management cost sharing grant 2020 extended funds.
Resolution number 119, 2020, 2022, submitted by the Land and Water Conservation, Planning and Zoning, and Finance Committees. This resolution authorizes a budget adjustment to extend SWRM funds from 2020 to 2021. This requires a 2/3 supermajority vote.
Motion by Supervisor Gifford, seconded by Supervisor Moore. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 13, authorizing the fine reconciliation of the fiscal year 2020 for all county funds.
Resolution number 120, 2020, 2022, submitted by the Finance Committee. This resolution authorizes the final reconciliation for fiscal year 2020. This requires a 2/3 supermajority vote.
Motion by Supervisor Laddick, seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll take a motion to adjourn if you guys can believe that. Motion by Supervisor Zastro, seconded by Supervisor Dubek. All those in favor with aye? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.